Residents will soon be able to get a variety of permits without stepping foot in Town Hall. An environmental study will soon be conducted at the West Barnstable shooting range, and the school committee will discuss construction costs for the proposed early learning center tonight. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, November 10th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. The town of Barnstable will soon begin using e-permitting. Town Council approved a 5-year contract with Viewpoint during its meeting last week. Assistant Town Manager Mark Ells says town officials have been looking at e-permitting for a few years.
We began to hear more and more about it as we went to the more regional or statewide or even nationwide discussions on being able to provide better service to your customer. There's two sides to the e-permitting. There's what the customer sees, and then there's what the employee sees, and both very important, and both a big part of the consideration that we had in trying to select a vendor to provide us with the e-permitting. We went through a statewide review of what other communities are using in Massachusetts, and even broader than that. We looked at what the county was doing because they've got a very aggressive effort to support the communities on the Cape with e-permitting. And after we had meetings with 3 vendors and looked at their products, chose a primary that we thought best suited Barnstable's needs, went out and did a reference check on them, began to look at both sides of that, what the customer sees and what the employee will utilize and what they will develop as a database as a result of having this system in place, and came to Viewpoint as the vendor that we were recommending.
Ells says it will take the town about 8 months to get e-permitting up and running.
Systems are there from the vendor side. It's taking the information that we have, putting it into our systems, training our staff, and then educating our public to truly go live. We can be using it behind the scenes, but to truly go live, make it available, we made a commitment to our town council, certainly, in asking for the funding for this, that we would not only communicate it, but we would try to provide the tools to our residents and the businesses that come here to Barnstable to get permits, that we would provide them whatever they needed so they could become familiar quickly and just get right back to business and make it even easier. They don't even have to come to Town Hall in many cases. They can just 24/7 go online and hopefully get what they need.
Ells says e-permitting will make many processes easier for both the public and town employees. Town Council also approved spending $25,000 on an environmental study at the West Barnstable shooting range. Ells says the study is an important step.
You know, right from the beginning, the manager made a commitment that, you know, upon reopening this, he'd do it in a manner that was safe, both operationally and environmentally. And really, this is beginning to assess the environmental component of that commitment. You know, we want to understand what the extent of lead from the range may be, and then to prepare to move forward with managing it properly. There's been lots of information flying around about concentrations, and you know, and it's correct. There is lead at the shooting range, and certainly a piece of lead has a very high concentration of lead.
Right.
And it is not, you know, the standards that are referenced are for your backyard, for example. That's what the state's looking at. That's how clean it would be, meaning it may not even be in existence in the soil in your yard. So of course, somewhere where you're putting lead is going to have higher concentrations. We know that wasn't a surprise at all. What we want to understand better is, because specifically it wasn't managed directly under the town manager's office, we don't necessarily have a complete feeling for where those lead deposits are, and then once we know where they are, we'll go in and assess them further and understand what might need to be done. Can it be something as simple as reclaiming it? Because there's actually a market value to the lead, so that can help to offset the cost of reclaiming, or do we have to do some level of remediation?
Ells says the study will begin immediately and that they are looking to have the results by the end of this calendar year. The school committee will meet tonight to discuss funding for the Early Learning Center. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mary Schakowsky, says they will be asking for an additional $529,000 for construction.
We're very, very pleased. We had to go out for a second round of bids on this project for Phase 1 because they came in so high. They came in almost $1.5 million over budget. And it was determined at that time that time was a factor. We had asked for these modulars to be in place by February, so we went out to rebid the project, and it came down significantly less. And we're still over by about $500,000, but we've come up with some about half of that through funding from completed school projects. So we're in a much better position financially, and I believe the school committee is going to support both of those items tonight going forward.
The school committee will meet at 6 o'clock tonight in the Town Hall hearing room. The issue will go before Town Council November 20th for a first reading. Barnstable Public Schools begins a district review this week. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mary Schakowsky, says every 10 years, each district in the Commonwealth is required to go through a school and district accountability review.
Basically covers 6 standards from leadership and governance to curriculum, human resources, asset management. And we're going to be undergoing our review this week, beginning this morning. The district leadership team will be meeting with the 6 team members. And these are retired superintendents as well as principals from various universities. We have a couple of retired superintendents from Harvard, and they're going to be joining us for the entire week. Today is the first day, but we've been preparing for the last 3 months for this review, preparing documents, communications, setting up focus groups, and so they're going to be here for the entire week. There'll be an exit interview on Friday afternoon with myself and the leadership team to really look at, what are the things we're doing really well here in Barnstable, and what are the things that we can improve upon. So looking forward toward this review. They're going to be interviewing town officials, school committee officials, students, parents, teachers, administrators. So it's a very extensive review, and we're looking forward to the visit.
Schakowsky says it's a comprehensive review of all areas.
Recruitment and hiring to leadership to finance and budget to parent involvement and community engagement. So it really is a very, very thorough review. It's the department that's reviewing is the Center for School and District Accountability, which is an arm of the department. It used to be coming under the EQA, which was no longer, and that was out of the governor's office, but they shifted that role back to the Department of Education. So it's a very, very comprehensive review. We go through it every 10 years, and Barnstable is up for its review.
And that review will be taking place all week. Grants from the Mass Department of Environmental Protection will help boost recycling efforts in Barnstable. Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick says the town was recently awarded 2 grants totaling more than $6,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection.
And we still haven't finalized how we want to spend that money, but I think what we're going to probably do with a good portion of it is to obtain another, what they call big belly solar compactor. We've got one on Main Street, and we want to add an additional one. And then also right now we've got just a trash compactor, and we want to get a recycling compactor, a single stream recycling compactor. So you combine the two together and you've got an effective waste strategy, at least for that area of town. The reason why our Structures and Grounds Department is so enthusiastic about these is that they save money.
Right.
Rather than having to check, as was the case on Main Street, every day in the summertime, now once a week maybe they stop by. And these solar compactors are connected to the town by the internet, and cellularly connected to the town. So you know when it's filled, you know when it's time to pick it up.
Elrick says those efforts will certainly save the town a whole lot of cash. Tonight, the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee meets at 5:30 in the Selectmen's Conference Room. A special school committee meeting will be held at 6 in the Town Hall hearing room. The Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee will meet at 7 in the Growth Management Conference Room. And tomorrow is Veterans Day. There are no meetings, but the annual Barnstable Soldier Veterans Day program will be held tomorrow. The parade will form next to Town Hall at 9:30 in the morning and will step off at 10. A ceremony will be held after the parade on the town green. Tomorrow we will also have a Veterans Day special airing in place of Barnstable this morning. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.